Hello to boxing fans around the world. Thanks for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. We're going to start today's episode off by visiting the European Amateur Championships and the winner of the gold medal, Hovhannes Bachkov out of Armenia. Now these championships are being held in Armenia, so it was quite an event for the local fans to get out there and see one of their national heroes actually win gold. Let's read the story here. Hovhannes Bachkov won a second European Amateur Championships gold medal of his career after another punishing display in yesterday's final. Bachkov, an unbeaten professional who is pushing towards world title contention, returned to the amateur code to represent Armenia in the light welterweight category, and the 29-year-old defeated France's Lunas Hamrui in the showpiece. The pro bellum fighter, that's Bachkov, 3-0 in the paid ranks, was awarded the gold medal after all 5 judges gave him the nod, with scores of 30-25 by 4 and 30-24 after the 3 rounds. Bachkov, who forced a standing count on Hamrui, had been a dominant force throughout the competition and was congratulated after his win by Armenian-German boxing legend Arthur Abraham. Bachkov, by the way, made a similar move back into the amateurs last summer when already a pro to compete at the delayed Tokyo Olympics and came home with a bronze medal. So now let's see, the number 1 seed in the 53.5 kilogram division, Bachkov won the European Championships gold in 2017 and made it through the final 5 years on after a small semifinal win over Richard Kovacs this past Sunday, I think. Bachkov's quarterfinal win came over Peter Novak of the Czech Republic, which came after an opening bout of the tournament against Great Britain's Joe Tyers. So there you go. Keep up to date with the latest news on Bachkov. Feel free to visit the Pro Bellum website or boxing247.com. Now let's move on to some UK news. The British super bantamweight champion Marc Leach has stated that he takes special satisfaction from knocking young unbeaten hopefuls off their TV perch. After a career spent largely flying under the radar, the highly skilled Salford native made people sit up and take notice in October 2020 when he comfortably defeated the unbeaten 2016 Olympian Quaij Ashfaz in what was billed the final eliminator for a shot at the Lonsdale belt. Leach was subsequently forced into another final eliminator against Thomas Asomba in June 2021 before being put forward to do battle with the undefeated Londoner Chris Burke at York Hall for the vacant title in March. The big punching Burke was viewed as the form horse going into the fight, but Leach told anyone who would listen that he would be too elusive and technical for his TV-backed opponent. Now Leach is set to defend his cherished title against another unbeaten fighter in Liam Davies in Telford on June 11th, and reckons that inflicting a first defeat on a fancied fighter who's been given all the advantages makes winning all the more pleasing. Yeah, definitely, said the 28-year-old with an 18-1-1 record. Most of them are very sugar-coated, have had easy fights, and have been big platforms, whereas I've done all the hard work, fought for free, been out of pocket, and not been on TV shows all the time. It is getting to the stage now where I'm fighting these up-and-coming prospects, or so they say, but there are more of me all around the world who haven't gotten the opportunity. I'm just thankful and grateful that I have got this opportunity. I just want to keep pushing on now and taking the O off whoever is in my way. So Marc Leach will defend his British super bantamweight title against Liam Davies on the big night of title action at the Telford International Centre on Saturday, June 11th, and that'll be live on BT Sport in the UK. Speaking of the UK, we see that Josh Kelly will be going against a fighter to be announced at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool on the 17th of June. Josh Kelly, 10-1 with 6 knockouts, will look to put his name back amongst the division's best as he makes his long-awaited return to the ring, as I said, on Friday, June 17th at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool as part of an action-packed night of free-to-air boxing live on Channel 5 in the UK. London had previously come calling for Kelly. That's funny. London had previously come calling for Kelly, and the Sunderland lad accepted willingly to get the capital rocking. However, after vigorous preparations and through no fault of his own, his opponent pulled out of the fight at the last minute. Kelly had snarled and bared his teeth all week, hunted to do business and carrying a steely gaze throughout. All noteworthy deterrents to force his opponent into no showing, which could be considered a wise move on the part of the opposing camp. Nevertheless, frustrating circumstances for Kelly that were left out of his hands. He says it's never an ideal situation when you commit to the grind and graft for a whole camp for your opponent to pull the plug at the last minute. It's not the first or last time it will happen in boxing. My job is to prepare and be ready for whoever, whenever. I'll be leaving no stone unturned come June 17th. This is bad news, apparently, for the rest of the division, as an even more prepared Josh Kelly awaits them all. Besides having an extra camp under his belt, the opportunity to exert over 12 months of frustration will be something he's also relishing. He concludes, no one wants to be inactive, but you can look at it a completely different light and use the time to fill the gaps and make all your dangerous assets even more deadly. I can't wait to give Liverpool, United Kingdom, and the world the chance to see Josh Kelly at his best again. Fair enough. Let's move on to the heavyweights. Hughie Fury is going toe-to-toe against Michael Hunter at the AO Arena in Manchester on July 2nd. Leading world heavyweight title contenders Hughie Fury and Michael Hunter will face off in a final WBA world title eliminator on Saturday, June 2nd, as I said, at the AO Arena in Manchester. The WBA has ordered that the winner of the Fury versus Hunter will go on to challenge the winner of the upcoming June 11th WBA world heavyweight title fight between defending world champion Trevor Bryan and British contender Daniel Dubois. Manchester Giant Fury and American Danger Man Hunter will put everything on the line in this extremely competitive high-stakes crossroads fight. With the world title in sight for the victor, fireworks are guaranteed. Fury sports a record of 26-3 with 15 knockouts and is ranked number 4 in the WA's rankings. He's fired up for his clash with Hunter, and he's been focused on a second world shot title since September 2017, when his challenge for the WBO world title at just 26 years of age ended in a controversial points loss to Joe Parker. Fury's managed by Mick Hennessy and was in the top 4 last October in Newcastle when he forced rugged rival Christian Hammer to retire on his stool after 5 rounds. Until then, Fury was at his best, landing accurate jabs and uppercuts and forcing Hammer's first stoppage loss since 2015 defeat by Hughie's cousin, Tyson Fury. With Hammer also taking heavy punchers like Tony Yoka, Alexander Povetkin, and Luis Ortiz to the distance, the stoppage looks even more impressive on Fury's record as he stakes his claim for a world title shot. Fury, still just 27, is on an unbeaten three-win fight with victories against Hammer, Mariusz Wach, and Pavel Sauer since his points loss to heavy hitter Povetkin in August of 2019. He says, I take fights everyone avoids. Michael Hunter has fought the best and he's up there with the best. These are the fights I want to show who is the best fighter out there. I'm looking forward to this challenge. I believe I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and this is another big fight to prove I can stand with the top 3 in the world heavyweight division. So the WBA number 2 rated Hunter, who's 21-2 with 14 knockouts of his own, has been swerved by many of the big names in the division and is targeting his first world heavyweight title shot after a points loss to Alexander Usyk in 2017 for the WBO World Cruiserweight title, and he'll be aiming to cause a big upset by defeating Fury. Known as The Bounty, Michael's father, Mike, was a former fringe heavyweight contender in the 80s and 90s who fought some of the big names in the era, including Buster Mathis Jr., Tyrell Biggs, and Franz Botha. He represented America in the London 2012 Olympics and turned pro shortly after, starting out in the cruiserweight ranks and quickly putting together an undefeated run before challenging Usyk. To highlight the serious threat that Hunter presents to Fury, Hunter caused a massive upset on his last visit to Britain in October 2019 when he stopped the unbeaten prospect Martin Bakole in the 10th round of a thrilling fight the referee intervening to wave the fight off when Bacoli was defenseless under a flurry of heavy blows. Since then, Hunter has gone unbeaten in 7 fights, including December 2019 fight. It was a draw with Povetkin in Saudi Arabia, which he believes should rightly have been a decision win in his favor. He says, "We're excited to return to Manchester and the iconic AO Arena for a fight which has everything on the line. Hughie Fury has patiently built his way back to the world title contention and has overcome big challenges along the way. This is another big test against one of the most avoided fighters in the division," said Boxer founder and CEO Ben Shalom. Hughie is only just about to come into his prime, so if he can get past Michael, then he puts himself unquestionably in the mix for world titles in the coming months and years. Michael will also believe this is the chance he's waiting for, and with such a big opportunity on line for the winners, both fighters will be giving everything. Adam Smith, Sky Sports head of boxing development, said, "What a fabulous matchup in the blue ribbon division, as Hughie Fury has a serious heavyweight test against an excellent Michael Hunter, whose talent we know well on Sky. Can Hughie now emerge from the shadows to produce a career best performance, or will the classy and avoided American gate crash the world scene?" So there you go. And that's a fight that will be available. Let's have a quick look here where it will be available. Doesn't quite say. There are tickets available, but it doesn't say it is being broadcast. And I guess seeing Sky was being quoted there. I guess it's a Sky Sports event. All right, let's move along. Having sorted that out, to someone who we chatted about a little while back, Hamzah Shiraz, who was voted UK's Young Boxer of the Year. He's going up against Francisco Emmanuel Torres at the Copper Box Arena in London on the 16th of July. Shiraz returns to the ring on July 16th, as I said, London's Copper Box Arena, on a night that also includes a British title double, featuring both Lennox Clark and Nick Ball, and will be shown live on BT Sport. Shiraz, who's 15-0 with 11 knockouts, continues his quest at middleweight with a defense of his WBC International Silver title, won last time out via defeat of Jez Smith, now against the Argentinian Francisco Emmanuel Torres, who's 17-3-1 with 5 knockouts over 10 rounds. Birmingham's Lennox Clark, who's 21-1 with 8 knockouts, makes his first defense of the British and Commonwealth middleweight titles against another big banger in Oldham's Mark Heffron, who's 27-2-1 with 21 knockouts, in what is certainly to be a mighty collision, with the IBF Intercontinental Championship belt also on the line. Liverpool's new star, Nick Ball, 15-0, 8 knockouts, is bidding to add the British and Commonwealth featherweight belts to his WBC Silver title, who won, defeating Isaac Lowe at Wembley Stadium by taking on the unbeaten Scottish talent, Nathaniel Collins, who's 11-0 with 5 knockouts. The exceptional young bantamweight star, Dennis the Menace McCann, 12-0, 6 knockouts, makes a jump up to featherweight in a fight over 10 rounds for the vacant WBC International Silver title against James Beach Jr., who's 14-2 with 2 knockouts, a 2-time British title challenger at super bantamweight. Also on the card, Southampton snapper Ryan the Piranha Garner, 11-0, 6 knockouts, is back in an 8-round fight against the Mexican Christian Lopez Torres, 13-18-2 with 11 knockouts, ahead of a likely title challenge next time out, with the new Queensbury recruit Pierce O'Leary, 9-0, 5 knockouts, from Dublin, fighting over 8 at the super lightweight division. The stacked card also features young light heavyweight star Karol Ituama, who's 7-0 with 5 knockouts in his 8th professional assignment over 6 rounds, with rising super featherweight Masoud Abdullah, who's 4-0 with 4 knockouts, appearing over the same distance. Super bantamweight Umar Khan, 3-0, and super lightweight Sonny Liston Ali, 3-0, will compete in 6-round contests, with welterweights Khalid Ali, 2-0, and Sam Noakes, 1-0, appearing in 4-rounders. Said promoter Frank Warren of Queensbury, "This is going to be an explosive night of boxing." The Boxing Writer's Young Boxer of the Year, Hamzah Shiraz, rightly gets top bill in his second fight at middleweight against an in-form Francisco Torres, who is unbeaten in his last 10 and fought at a really good level. It's an ideal international test for Hamzah in a defense of his title. It doesn't get much better than 2 British title fights, we were delivering Lennox Clark versus Mark Heffron. Has got a war written all over it, and neither man is fond of taking a backward step, and both carry huge power. Nick Ball is now big noise in the featherweight division, and he gets to fight for the British and Commonwealth titles against the highly rated Nathaniel Collins, who's been attracting rave reviews for his recent performances. If Nick can add those two belts to his WBC Silver title, he will not be far away from world title contention. And lastly, he says, Dennis McCann is another now taking significant steps forward, and the Menace is ready to jump up to featherweight and take on a real challenge in James Beach Jr. for the WBC International Silver belt. There you go. And that's all the news fit to print today. Thank you for joining me here on Talk and Fight, Boxing News Today. You can join me later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. with Mike Gore at 4 and Cedric Ben for their show Knuckle Up. And remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And as I said, we'll see you later on.